What if I told you that not every woman you desire is truly worth having, and failing to see this early could cost you more than just your heart? Many men suffer not because love is painful, but because they invest themselves into the wrong person, someone who drains rather than uplifts, takes without giving, and leaves you weaker instead of stronger. But here's the truth. Spotting these signs isn't just about avoiding heartbreak. It's about protecting your dignity, your peace, and your power. Not every connection is worth keeping. Recognizing this is strength, not loss. At this very moment you are standing at a turning point. You can continue to be blind to the signs and fall into a cycle of disappointment, or open your eyes, learn to see clearly, and walk away before the damage is done. Pain is only power if you know how to wield it. So if you're ready to stop being a victim and start becoming a master of your own fate, hit the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I value myself above all. Now, let's dive into it. Number 1. The Chaos Lover. Why some women need drama more than peace. There is a certain type of woman who is not comfortable with peace. To her, calmness is not safety, it is boredom. She thrives on emotional chaos, and if life offers her calmness, she will unconsciously manufacture conflict to feel alive. You may have experienced this already, the moments when everything is going well, yet suddenly she stirs up an argument, misinterprets your words, or withdraws, leaving you confused and scrambling to fix something you didn't break. At first, you might think it's your fault. You analyze every word you said, wondering where you went wrong, but here's the truth. You didn't do anything wrong. She isn't fighting because of you. She's fighting because she is addicted to the emotional roller coaster. To her, the ups and downs are familiar, even comforting. Stability feels empty. And so, even if you try to lead calmly, she will pull you into emotional games, baiting you into reactions just to recreate the highs and lows she craves. The Stoic man sees through this pattern. He understands that this is not about him, but about her internal state. He does not get drawn into the chaos. He does not argue back. He does not fall into the trap of trying to fix her emotional instability. Instead, he chooses peace, not just externally, but internally. He observes without judgment, but also participation. This is key, because the moment you start playing her game, you've already lost your frame. Most men don't realize that participating in this emotional tug-of-war will only drain them. It creates a relationship dynamic where you are constantly on edge, sacrificing your mental stability for fleeting moments of temporary harmony, and yet the chaos will return. Again and again, because that is her pattern. You can't fix it by giving more, being more patient, or sacrificing boundaries. You can only step back and choose whether you will continue to be part of it. From a Stoic perspective, the answer is simple but not easy. Do not engage. You don't coldly ignore, but don't feed the fire. You stay calm. You set boundaries. If needed, you walk away, not to punish her, but to preserve your own peace. And when you no longer react to the chaos, you force her to confront her patterns or free yourself from someone unwilling to. Comment below. I don't play chaos games. The greatest power you have in situations like these is the ability to choose peace. When you refuse to participate in drama, you stop validating it. You show strength, not through dominance, but through composure. And ironically, this often shifts the dynamic more than any argument ever could. Number 2. The attention addict. When she values validation over connection. In the modern world, attention has become currency, and some women have become addicted to it without even realizing. Social media, constant feedback loops, and the pursuit of likes and comments often replace genuine emotional intimacy. When you encounter a woman who seems to live for external validation, you'll notice a pattern. No matter how much genuine care, time, or presence you offer her, it never feels enough. Why? Because she is not primarily seeking connection with you, she is chasing applause from the crowd. This type of woman measures her worth by the number of compliments under her photos, the messages flooding her inbox, and the attention she receives from strangers. Your respect, loyalty, and commitment often pale compared to a few flattering comments from someone she barely knows. Even worse, when you question this pattern, not in a controlling way but as a healthy concern, you are likely to be met with deflection. She may accuse you of being jealous, insecure, or too sensitive, shifting the blame onto you rather than reflecting on her own behaviors. The Stoic man understands this dynamic without resentment. He sees that the issue is not his inadequacy, it is her relationship with herself and the external world. He does not argue, beg, or try to compete for attention. He knows that attention, when turned into a commodity, becomes a bottomless pit. No amount will satisfy her, because the void she is trying to fill is internal, not external. What most men tragically do is try harder. They compliment, give more attention, and even accept uncomfortable behaviors, hoping to eventually be enough. Yet every ounce of effort usually yields diminishing returns. The more you give, the less she values it, because to her, value is defined by novelty and public affirmation, not depth or loyalty. From a Stoic viewpoint, this is where detachment becomes your strength. You are not cold or unfeeling, but refuse to base your worth on her fleeting approval. You do not compete with the world for her attention. You live your life, pursue your purpose, and let those who align with that path come naturally. You remain unaffected if she cannot appreciate real connection over superficial praise. You know that validation is not something you chase, it is something you already possess internally. This mindset often flips the dynamic. The woman used to men competing for her attention may find herself unexpectedly intrigued by the man who does not. The man who neither judges her nor fights for her validation becomes a mystery. He becomes the challenge. But even if she never sees it, you have won. Not because you gained her approval, but because you never needed it. Comment below. I am not here to compete for attention. Remember, true value does not require advertisement. The Stoic man does not seek to be chosen by those addicted to noise. He simply continues his path, knowing that real connection is built quietly, away from the applause. Number 3. The blame shifter. Why she never takes responsibility. One of the clearest signs of an unhealthy relationship dynamic is when you find yourself constantly at fault, even for things you didn't cause. Some women, consciously or unconsciously, refuse to accept responsibility for their actions, mistakes, or emotional patterns. Instead of reflection, they choose projection. Every issue, every disappointment, every argument somehow circles back to you, as if you are the source of all problems. This is not just frustrating, it's psychologically draining. At first you may think you are helping by accepting blame. Maybe you want to be the bigger person, show patience, or smooth things over for harmony. But soon you realize the pattern is endless. No matter how much you adapt, explain, or apologize, you are met with more accusations, not less. She blames her bad moods on you. She blames her financial stress on you. She blames your boundaries as being selfish. Eventually you begin to doubt yourself. Maybe it really is me, you wonder. This is where the danger lies. From a Stoic point of view, this situation is critical. Stoicism teaches us to accept responsibility, but only for what is within our control, and the actions, emotions, and choices of others are not within your control. You may influence them, but you are not their cause. The Stoic man recognizes this boundary clearly. He does not carry guilt for what isn't his. He is willing to own his flaws, but refuses to accept blame for things outside his sphere of responsibility. What makes this dynamic so dangerous is that it subtly erodes your self-respect. If accepted passively, constant blame will condition you into walking on eggshells. You will start to adjust your actions to avoid future accusations preemptively. You will lose your sense of freedom and authenticity, not because she controls you directly, but because you have surrendered your internal peace to her projections. The healthy response is not to counter blame, defend endlessly, or fight every accusation. The Stoic man calmly and firmly sets boundaries. He acknowledges what is his and releases what is not. If she cannot own her part, you don't argue. You simply recognize the limitation. And if the pattern persists, you make decisions based on your values, not her emotional turbulence. Ironically, you regain your strength by refusing to play the blame game. You show her and yourself that you will not compromise your clarity for temporary peace. This composure is rare and often disrupts the unhealthy cycle more effectively than shouting or pleading ever could. Comment below, I am responsible only for myself. The man who stops absorbing undeserved blame is the man who reclaims his freedom. And whether she adjusts or not, you have already won, because you refuse to lose yourself trying to carry a weight that was never yours. Number 4. The emotional manipulator. How she uses silence and sadness to control. Manipulation doesn't always come in the form of aggression. Often it hides beneath silence, soft sighs, and subtle expressions of sadness. Some women, consciously or not, use these tools to control. Instead of expressing concerns directly or communicating with maturity, they withdraw emotionally, punish you with silence, or present themselves as the victim, especially when you assert healthy boundaries. The goal is simple: make you feel guilty enough to bend. It starts subtly. You say something respectful but firm, like limiting your time, protecting your personal space, or expressing disagreement. Instead of responding through conversation, she suddenly grows quiet, avoids eye contact, or acts as if you have deeply wounded her. This creates emotional discomfort within you. You feel responsible for her sadness, even when you know you did nothing wrong. The common male response is to unnecessarily chase, soothe, or apologize. When you do this, you reward the manipulation, and it will happen again. The Stoic man handles this pattern differently. He does not ignore her feelings, but he does not become a slave to them either. He understands that emotions are not facts. He observes her emotional withdrawal without letting it control his actions. He holds his ground, stays composed, and communicates calmly when necessary. He does not rush to patch a wound that may not even be real, but may instead be a tool. What makes this dynamic so powerful and dangerous is that it is often unconscious on her part. She may not even realize she is doing it. However, regardless of her intent, the result is the same. You slowly surrender your authenticity, adjusting yourself to avoid the discomfort of her withdrawal. Over time, you will find yourself sacrificing more and more just to keep the peace, but it will never be enough. From the Stoic perspective, this is where clear principles become your armor. You are kind, but not compliant. You acknowledge emotion, but you do not negotiate your standards based on emotional pressure. You stay true to your path, even tolerating temporary discomfort, and you never trade your inner peace for external harmony. The paradox is that, when you hold this steady frame, you give her the best chance to grow beyond this pattern. By refusing to reward manipulation, you invite her into genuine communication. If she adjusts, respect is born. If she doesn't, you still win, because you kept your integrity intact. Comment below. My emotions guide me, but they don't control me. The man who stays calm in the storm of emotional manipulation does not just protect himself, he often elevates the entire relationship. Not through dominance, but through unwavering clarity. Number 5. The short-sighted woman. When there's no vision for tomorrow. A woman without a long-term vision is not simply someone who lives in the moment. She is someone who, whether knowingly or not, invites instability into every area of her life and relationships. You may initially find her spontaneity charming. She's fun, exciting, and unpredictable. This is where many men fall into a hidden trap. At first, you feel like the strong one. You enjoy providing structure, leading and helping her navigate life. Yet slowly, without realizing it, you are being pulled into her chaotic orbit. You become the safety net. You start carrying not only your burdens, but hers. You find yourself solving her problems, managing her emotions, and making up for her lack of foresight. And in doing so, you unconsciously cripple her growth while exhausting yourself. From the Stoic perspective, this is a classic violation of right judgment. You mistake chaos for vitality, but Stoicism teaches you to look beyond immediate pleasure and see the consequences. Is she growing alongside you? Is she helping you build something, or are you just keeping her afloat while your own goals stall? The danger of staying with someone who refuses to think beyond today is not just logistical, it is emotional. You will eventually begin to resent her. The more you lead while she drifts aimlessly, the more the relationship shifts from partnership to parent-child dynamics. She may not intend it, but without a long-term vision, you are left alone, holding the responsibility for two. The Stoic man faces this truth early, without illusion. He does not try to fix her. He does not convince her to be someone she is not ready to become. Instead, he calmly assesses, is this the kind of person I can walk alongside, or someone I must carry? If it is the latter, he does not condemn her, but chooses to step back. This is not cruelty, it is wisdom. Love without direction soon becomes frustration. A relationship without a shared vision will collapse under misaligned priorities. Your duty is not to rescue someone who refuses to grow. It is to build a life with someone who is willing to grow beside you. Comment below. I build with those who want to build. Choosing peace and purpose over short-term excitement is one of the hardest but most liberating decisions a man can make. The Stoic man accepts reality as it is, not as he wishes it to be, and moves forward, focused and free. Number 6. The masculinity challenger when she resists instead of supports. In healthy relationships, masculine and feminine energies naturally complement each other. The masculine provides direction, stability, and calm leadership, while the feminine brings emotion, creativity, and nurture. But there are women who, instead of embracing this balance, feel the need to constantly compete with masculine energy, especially when faced with a man who knows how to lead. These women often confuse your leadership with control and interpret your steadiness as dominance to rebel against. At first, this challenge may seem harmless, even playful. She disagrees for the sake of excitement, mocks your decisiveness, or questions your plans with a smile. However, over time, this pattern escalates into power struggles. You begin to feel like every decision, every suggestion, every attempt at guiding is met with resistance. Not because you are wrong, but because she does not want you to lead at all. What could have been a dynamic of mutual trust becomes a silent war for dominance. The mistake most men make here is to submit. They water themselves down to avoid conflict. They shrink their masculine energy to make her feel comfortable, thinking that if they give her the wheel, peace will return. But it never does. Instead, resentment grows on both sides. She loses respect for you even if she gets her way, and you lose your sense of masculine fulfillment. The Stoic man does not fall into this trap. He does not compete with her, nor does he try to overpower her. He leads calmly, knowing that true leadership is not about forcing others to follow, it's about inviting them to trust you. He does not apologize for his masculinity, he does not explain it, he simply embodies it. If she resists, he does not escalate. If she consistently disrespects, he makes the hard but necessary choice to step away, not out of anger, but out of self-respect. Stoicism teaches that you are not responsible for another person's emotional discomfort about who you are. You are responsible only for acting with virtue, courage, and composure. You were not born to shrink yourself for anyone, not for harmony, not for approval, and certainly not to win a short-lived argument. Ironically, many women who challenge masculinity do so precisely because they want to test if it is real. They don't want you to fold, they want you to hold. They want to know if you are steady enough to remain masculine, even when faced with emotional storms. If you remain unshaken, they either adjust or reveal themselves as incompatible. Either way, you win by standing firm. Comment below, I do not shrink to avoid conflict. The man who honors his masculine nature without apology creates a space where real polarity can exist. And in that space, true attraction, trust, and respect are born. Not by force, but by steadfast presence. So now you know the 6 signs of a low-tip woman, traits that can drain your energy, waste your time, and lead you into emotional chaos. But here's the real question: how do you spot these signs before it's too late? Because let's be honest, some of these women are experts at hiding their true nature until you're already trapped. And even more importantly, what makes a woman truly high? What separates the ones who bring peace, respect, and loyalty from those who bring nothing but problems? If you want to avoid the wrong women and attract the right ones, you need to understand the deeper psychology behind female behavior. In the next video, we'll break down the traits of a truly high-witty woman, so you can recognize her, keep her, and build a relationship that actually benefits your life. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it. And if you've ever encountered any of these 6 signs in real life, let me know in the comments. What was your experience? See you in the next one.